But this will be Kanavi on this champion. Of course, if you were watching during the Kesper Cup, Atrox jungle was kind of ridiculous during that tournament. Of course, we are, a patch or two down the line since then. Some tanks once he does have...
That looks weird.
Yeah, that is very strange. Didn't know you could get through that wall. There you go.
Sponge is very low.
Yeah, he is going to be able to take the first Chemtech Dragon, but Kanavi looking for a little bit of an option here. Does hit the Infernal Chains, but they're broken pretty comfortably.
Lane, and the Corki pick working out here initially. Scout?
Emperor's Divide, yeah, going to throw back Scout here as Kanavi with the World Ender looking for an opportunity. Flash does come through. There's the Flash Infernal Chains, and Scout is just pulled back into the sweet spot of Q3 for both of our teams to look at as far as these neutral objectives. Zeus making his way down towards said pit already as Zeka finds it once again. It's so much easier with that flash on cooldown, and it's Zeka that grabs the kill this time. Man, this Kanavi Zeka 1-2 punch is getting scary.
With this Pantheon, it's going to be so tricky because Delight has flash and ult as well. Like, I just don't think there's a cross map for you in this one, Nongshim.
And Sponge is going to be spotted on this ward as well as he makes his way in. They are going to be able to clear that out, so he does know that he's been spotted, but full information over to HLE for now.
Like, Guma has barrier flash too. Like, this is going to be so tricky to pull off. They might be able to do it.
It's red-white guns. It's a bit scary here as the Pop Blossom does come on through. They do try and focus on Nogumiyuchi, but he gets the Wild Growth, and Taeyeon's going to go down in trade. Zeka teleports in to make sure that he's seeing the end of this fight, but a 1-for-1 is not what Nongshim were looking for. Now Taeyeon realizes that he's in an awkward spot. There's the flash in from Sponge, though, as they do get Zeka, but he's able to shift the sands, get himself over the wall, flash from Scout, and Zeka is going to come on through, but Scout has that clockwork wind up, is able to take down the Azir. Still, the fight continues here as Kanavi looking for the angle, gets the Wild Growth. That's going to be the end of Lahen's Sponge in so much trouble as well. This Atrox is completely unstoppable, and he is going to transition that into their first Dragon of the game as well.
It's even worse. I mean, they really are one step forward, 2 or 3 steps back on this one, and like the whole time, it's just Kanavi set up for success. He has this Lulu, and this is kind of the way that you can play so many of these new bruiser junglers, like the Ambessa we've already seen in the same position. Global ultimate, so Sponge is still just behind the curve this entire time. He just cannot make the impact.
They are on the same screen as Kanavi. That cannot be a good idea as Sponge dives forward onto Gumiyushi. He flashes away. Kanavi's just posing the question, can they kill him? That's the question, is now in amongst it. Taeyeon going down very, very low. There's a Wild Growth once again as Delight's support is fantastic, but they do manage to take down the Atrox. The problem is Zeka turns up, and that's going to be 2 on the floor for Nongshim at the same time. 2-item spike in the Collector Infinity Edge that he's going for here. I actually kind of like that. Trying to get a little bit of extra power in those 2 items instead of going for a lot more of these 3-item builds. All right, Kanavi, I don't know about this one, as he's just dead.
Like I said, he only goes in. He doesn't know about the other directions.
Yeah.
It looked really like we were going to put Atrox to the
Sometimes it's the intention that counts, and he intended to make action happen, Wolf.
He was like, look, I hit this guy with Sunder's guy, then I hit the next guy. I mean, there's something here.
Yeah.
There was not, in fact, something there, except 3 people that were trying to kill him, and then they did. This Dragon, Kingen, he's considering, he's like, should I go down there? I don't think so. I'll let Zeus go down. I'm going to stay up top. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to get money.
Well, he might actually be able to grab a decent amount of plate gold here, as the Trinity Force is already completed for the Zion, so we will be cutting through these turrets very effectively. There's the Rift Herald, gets a decent little charge there, as there's the flash ult from Zeus, as Gumiyushi throws out his ulti as well. That is a dead Taeyeon, just stepping a little bit too far forward.
Yeah, I remember when I said in the draft that he's like, oh, okay, it's a Scion. There'll probably only be one form of engage I'm worried about.
The hands finds the double Pop Blossom on 2 of the carries here as Gumiyushi is the target, but oh my goodness, gets so much of his health bar back.
There's just not enough damage to take him out there once Taeyeon is gone, even though Scout's trying his best.
Okay, he's not going to die to the turret this time around. As Zeka now could be in a little bit of trouble here as he does have to shift the sands to make his way out. Delight to slow down Scout with that Glitter Lance.
Taeyeon picks the Corki because he's like, okay, there's a Scion, there'll probably be a jungle that engages. I'm a little bit worried about that, as Kingen should be worried.
He should, as Kanavi's going to come in, does land the Q onto Taeyeon here, as the rest of Nongshim will show up.
Fantastic, but Kanavi has the turret aggro.
Lahenz finds the angle once again onto Gumiyushi, as there's the shockwave, and down he will go. Sponge makes his way in as well. They really threw the kitchen sink at Guma to make sure that he went down, and that is going to be his second death of the game.
Kingen is going to get some extra side lane pressure as we're still fighting.
Yeah, there's another double knock up here as Kanavi comes forward. He's the real carry this game, and down will go Sponge. Now Kanavi's still looking for a little bit more here as he is still alive on Summoner's Rift, so that means he's going to be going in. If there's a turret, does not care.
Like, I kind of said it almost jokingly at the beginning because of how he played that series against T1, but... And one day, Kingen will show up for a team fight. You know, it was a bit of a fun time watching Kingen just avoid fights and lost games for Nongshim last year. This game, I'm like, maybe now that you've got the Sundered Sky, not lost by any means, but we need to see this team coordinate real 5v5s, because right now Hanwha Life Esports is just calling every shot. And Kanavi is the one who's calling the shots on Hanwha Life.
Okay, Wolf, Kanavi is going in.
He's going.
I don't want to surprise you, but he is just going to look to kill Sponge. Sponge is just dead. Now Taeun is in between his turrets, and that is an illegal place to be as the Infernal Chains pulls him back. Pop Blossom not going to be enough to save him. Yes, it is. Never mind. Enough to save him here is maybe not enough to save Lehens, as Kanavi has tanked about 11 turret shots here, and he still kills him underneath the turret. My goodness, this guy is so bloodthirsty today.
Scout did not want a TP ult in. He's like, I'm not going to TP and drop an ult on this. This is just doomed. It feels like this whole game, I'm watching 5 members on Hanwha Life Esports walk towards Nongshim and kill them with their fearless leader running forward first. Their Atrox on now 2.5 items to do. Like, Kanavi's is like, all right, I found the enemy jungler that's 2 levels down. There are teammates nearby. I mean, I'm sure like Guma and crew are like, there might be some bad guys in there, and he's like, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's my goal.
He's like, that's kind of the point. And the fact that this between 2 turrets, Sion is again able to ult Taeun, a Corki. And
it's just like perfectly timed, Wolf.
I'm kind of losing it. Like Nongshim. Oh, we gotta play a pro game here. Is Hanwha Life Esports is making this look easy. They get the dragon.
Yeah, Nongshim will be able to take their second of the game here as Shockwave still up and available. Let's see whether Kanavi can get in amongst it. Oh my goodness, they're all stacked up. As Kanavi, can he actually find it? Pop Blossom hits onto 3, but the Empress Divide is there as well. It's so hard to kill this Atrox as Sponge survives for a long time, but finally will be taken out. Kingen getting in amongst it, almost picks off 2 as Gumayushi limping away with about 100 health, but that is a much better fight here for Nongshim. Does get another control ward down here, doesn't quite find the chains onto Sponge. It's the rest of HLE moving on over. Zeus getting himself into position. There's the flash ulti onto 3 as the Q knocks up 2 of them, and there's the shuffle from Zeka. Down will go the Lulu, but it's in trade for 2, one of them being the AD carry, and HLE now considering going for a Baron.
I mean, Zeus is making like this Sion looked like Cannon or something.
Yeah, right?
He just keeps flashing and getting exactly what he wants. He's gap closing with his flash button. He's using his ultimate at point blank range.
Oh, Pop Blossom does come on through as now Gumayushi could be in a little bit of trouble, but it's
There's
just
no
Lehens, so I don't know how they were supposed to do anything about that. He does go golden as now King in at full health, but he has to face off against Zeus, who is incredibly difficult to kill. There's the W, and the ulti comes through here from Kingen to take down the Atrox, but he's now into his passive. Scout looking for the angle here as Gumayushi is by himself. As now Kingen fighting off Zeus and Zeka here 1 by 1, and he will go down in the process. And Zeka still not able to actually enter the river here, so the Baron will stay alive. Did find himself at the mercy of Scout after that flash did come on through. HLE looking for Soul Point, they will be able to get it.
There's a control ward here. They know that Nongshim are on this, obviously, and they're very aware that they were rotating over, but they can see the timing. They know exactly, we can get this dragon, push mid. There's
Kanavi. Now getting very close to the bad guys. Lehens, I'm not sure about this position, but he does sidestep Zeus' ultimate. Still gets slowed down though, as the Roar of the Slayer does come on through, and there is the fully charged Q. Lehens will just be dead.
I didn't see it until just now. When I saw that slow, I was like, does he have Bandle Pipe? He has Bandle Pipes. Zeus built Bandle Pipes.
There we go.
He's gotten a lot of gold this game. He's putting it to good uses. Now Nongshim are looking for a contest.
Well, it could be a 50-50 here as Sponge. He's been pretty good at those in the past. Let's see whether Kanavi can lock this one down. Down to 3,000. Sponge trying to get into the pit here. There's the shockwave! Absolutely insane! This is a triple for Sponge! Does manage to help Taeun take down another one as Scout gets pulled back, but it's a quadra kill for the Pantheon! down. Absolute insanity here for Nongshim, as now they're going to look to push in and break open the base.
Yeah, I mean, 30 seconds on Guma, 40 on Zeka. They have a wave here with a cannon minion. I mean, trying to end here, I think, might be a bridge too far, but they may go for it. They may just also go back and take the Baron. 20 seconds on Aphelios.
I think they might
have enough.
I think they might be able to do it.
I mean, Scout is so huge this game. This turret is just not going to last long enough, and I think they just barely have enough time here to take this Nexus out. What a silly end. Great combo from Scout.
What a ridiculous game.
That game.
It's a 3-threat comp, and will be doing a lot of damage in the later stages. And against decently low range, I know Varus has a lot of range himself, but outside of that, everyone else is up close and personal. So not too bad. Also with a cheeky longsword for a few extra stats in comparison to Tane, but he's already picked up 10 stacks on his cult, and so getting closer and closer to that payout. As Kanavi here towards the top lane, Kingen could be in trouble as he is pushed very far up. Zeus now dives on in. Zeus going down relatively low, but the flash from Kanavi will get the return flash out of Kingen as well. He's in the mist, but Gwen this time is not immune, and that is first blood over to Kanavi once again.
Now, if Scout had level 6, this could be a little bit scary. He's still going to come over.
Yeah. He's going to be the one that walks over a ward, but Sponge is just blocking off the retreat here. And remember, Gumayusi does not have his flash available. There's the flag and drag, and the flick back onto 2. Scout locks down the kill, and man, I mean, asking the question of what Nongshim had for breakfast is pretty obvious. It's probably ramen, but oh my goodness, it must have been good.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of products, and a lot of the staff is eating it here every day.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, it smells really nice. I'm a little bit jealous. Zeka is going to Realm Warp.
All right, let's see whether HLE can make the play work themselves, as they will be able to grab a plate, and Kingen is just dead. No flash, no chance.
That Realm Warp, and Zeus did not have to commit his ultimate there on the top side, and they will also get the Dragon in answer on the bottom side, so winning on both sides here. So Hanwha Life Esports taking a significant gold lead off of that turnaround.
Sponge moves his way over. That is going to mean that Nongshim are going to be A-OK. Kanavi not quite able to find an angle here, as Delight moving towards the mid lane does have that Glacial Fissure up and available.
Double control word. Got to work on that communication as Kanavi.
Lehens finds himself behind enemy lines, but also in a very uncomfortable position. It's a great Cataclysm, though, as there's the ulti in from Zeus to spell the end of that Nautilus. Kanavi will go down, but it's already a one fight here for HLE as Kingen trying to do what he can, but it's a double for Zeka. And it's now 2-5, HLE securing a big lead. As HLE, one grub did go over to Nongshim, but it looks like the other 2 will belong to HLE after getting themselves the first Drake as well. So a Cloud already done. It's under a minute until we have this Chemtech Dragon coming up. And HLE, if they can get themselves into a position where they have that double Dragon, that extra Dragon control, it's something that Wadid was talking about on the space, was a bit sloppy from HLE in game number 1. Not really a dive available, but here's the Cataclysm as Zeus gonna look to go 1v2, finds a public execution as he does put Kingen into the sky, but he's now looking to try and dash his way out, not exactly finding it here, as there's the Flag and Dragon, down will go the Ambessa. A well-needed kill here for Kingen towards that top side of the map. Now actually has a gold lead.
Can they deny Dragon? I just don't think so, though, and this does help Kingen a little bit, obviously getting his second kill of the game here, grabbing some plate gold. This is going to be huge for the Gwen, but it's Ocean Soul here for Hanwha Life Esports, but they bought themselves
kills. Then she really is kind of a dead weight. And so feeling better about that one. I think understanding where they need to be putting their attention is, speaking of attention, HLE throws theirs towards the bottom side of the map as now Lehens in a lot of trouble and will just be popped like a balloon. Down goes the Big Daddy. It's a second death here for Lehens.
A lot of commitment to resources that, like, I guess Lehens wasn't accounting for. But either way, kind of a bit of an overstep there.
All right, 2v2 here towards the top side of the map as Sponge keeping his presence unknown for as long as he can. Kingen down to 50%, but there's Kanavi making his way forward. Great knock-up as Kanavi is so close to dead. He'll be taken down first, and Zeus, not long for the world either. Zeka is going to show up, and meanwhile here towards the bottom side, it's Gumayusi being knocked up into the sky. Taeun trying to take him down and will be able to get him here as Delight able to assist the kill there towards Lehens, who does fall for the third time, but
I think this is just their
fight for this. Weaver's Wall does come on through, but
it's like Scout's telling his teammates don't contest.
Yeah, this is a very weird situation here as they do take the Rift Herald. So now not a lot more to fight for, but there is the flick back onto Delight. Down to 50% as Kanavi makes his way in, obviously. Flag and drag knocks him towards the sky. His Chains of Corruption, oh, just barely outranged by Lehens there. And HLE will just be able to walk their way out after collecting their prize.
Kanavi is just so terrifying. He could go in at any time.
He could.
And they end up getting the win on that one. Nongshim are going to try to take this dragon in return.
That's another seismic shove connecting here as the door does a lot of work, but just not enough to keep him alive. Kill goes over to Taeyeon there at the same time, so that is more money into the hands of the Yunara.
So they get the dragon, they get the kill. We'll lose some plates here in mid, so Zeka's benefactor of that, but really strong turnaround for Nongshim after what happened there on the top side, and to have some jungle assist makes a lot of sense, and then he hits that second item and he is going to be a real threat in the side lane, more than he is now. Taeyeon kind of alone here.
Yeah, there's a flash forward from Delight. Misses the ulti though as Taeyeon's able to get himself out of there mostly. Zeka flashes on top of him though to take down the Yunara, but now he's in an awkward spot. Scout now the one in trouble as the blast going to get Zeka to safety as Kingen looks to make his way in. Needlework to start it off, and down goes the Rise as Gumayusi now having to deal with Kingen, and the Needlework from downtown collects this Varus. Now Nongshim with a man advantage, but Sponge looking a little worse for wear as Lehens makes his way forward. Kingen is 1 versus 3, but I think he likes that one as down goes the Braum, and Kanavi follows. Sponge happy to die here because that is an ace for Nongshim.
I would love to see the damage stats after that fight between Scout and Kingen, just hitting everybody that's stacked up on top of each other. A decisive team fight win. And a bit of a messy one from Hanwha Life Esports, you know, like on one hand, it's like Taeyeon forced Zeka to go that deep, but Zeka could have also just been like, all right, well that AD carry isn't going to do anything, so let's kind of refocus. A very difficult fight to enter for Hanwha Life Esports.
Yeah, Scout, you can see, moving towards Zeus, and does actually clip him there with the seismic shove down to 50%. Kingen moving forward, this turret is very dead, but Kingen may be dead as well. Never mind, going to be flashing to get himself out of the way. The Needlework to try and keep him healthy. Zeus should be going down as well. Finally, he's taken out. As now Taeyeon is the target. Kanavi gets on top of him, but it's not quite enough. As now the Realm Warp comes in, but Taeyeon is just dancing around the fight. Delight goes down. Lehens is dead as well. Zeka and Gumayusi still up and available as mid laners and AD carries both left standing.
Close the gap. Zeka cannot do enough damage, and they're still going to reset here and get the faster take on the dragon, so the end result is the same despite an even trade of kills there. They take the second dragon, see almost everything except
Kingen possibly discovered here as Zeus and Zeka are going to try and hold him in position. Let's see whether Kingen can get this one done. Remember, he has an arm guard, and Zeka is almost just straight up dead. Public execution comes on through, and Kingen does go golden. Now the fight on the other side of the rift with the man advantage for Nongshim. They get the double knockups with that ulti out of Lehens as Scout will show up. They take down Sponge though, and Kanavi taking so much damage. And he will finally fall down. 2 for 1, the trade in favor of HLE.
Drop the Baron aggro, they let it reset. I think is the wise call. I don't think Zeka has his actualizer just yet, but he might in this fight. It would be huge if he did.
Oh, Kingen looking for a wraparound. There's the engage from Lehens. Cataclysm through from Sponge. They're looking for Gumayusi, but he gets the relative safe. Never mind. Kingen gets on top of him, diving in towards that backline, and will be able to eviscerate this Varus. And Kanavi falls as well. Zeka not enough that he can do, and the Weaver's Wall is going to come through to take him out. That is going to be another threaded volley, a big old rock to the back of the noggin, and down will go the Rise. And now Nongshim should be able to take this Baron.
It looks like Nongshim is poised to take this series. There's no actualizer in Zeka's inventory. He cannot alone 1v9 this team fight, essentially. I mean, the copium for Hanwha fans is like, you've got to rise, you've got a lot of wave clear. Maybe somehow you can just hang on here. It's still a 2 Drake apiece game. That 2 minutes left on the Baron, though, is going to feel so oppressive. They still have this Gwen.
Oh, God.
And
look at Scout's items, man. He's got a Rabadon's completed.
He got the Rabadons. Still no actualizer for Zeka. This is going to be a free dragon, but I think if you're Hanwha, you're like, yeah, I mean, you take it. As long as you're not killing my Nexus right now, that Baron timer is going to get smaller. That's the best we can hope for.
5 and 5. Gorgeous. But hasn't actually happened just yet. We'll just have to see whether Nongshim can cleanly close this one out.
Let's see, they got 40 seconds left. Zeus is kind of knocking on the, Kingen is knocking on the front door here.
Yeah, Kanavi goes in, looks for a bit of an angle here. The old full item build, but does now have another slot considering the quest. Scout, will he be able to get the shove? He does manage to find it there under the light, but he puts up the door. Not exactly the optimal target, but still, even with the door there, still takes half of his health bar. And you can see the darkness that you were talking about, Wolf. Hens really hates that minion as he gets the knock-up on to Zeka. Man, thrown around like a ragdoll, but does go golden in time. Chains of Corruption are there to try and make this one happen, but Kingen gets into the backline, and Scout down so incredibly low, but he just goes gold and keeps himself alive. It's only Zeus left standing, and Nongshim are about to do the unthinkable. A 2-0 over Hanwha Life Esports here to put Baron within one game from Elder Group here for the LCK Cup.
The unthinkable, the biggest upset of the tournament here in week 1. Nongshim dismantling HLE in game 2, and game 1 showcasing a completely different resilience.
So I imagine that Gio and Andal should have a pretty good time in lane. But T1's composition is looking really nicely well-rounded. A little bit more of a focus on the jungle and where Willer is going, and that worked out here as Magical Journey is taken. What is that? That fight was crazy, as Pays will be taken down for first blood, but Andal will be traded for immediately. Both of the supports picking up some kills, but it's Gio that's allowed to stick around in lane. So theoretically, it is actually a win for DRX.
I love the late.
All right, Emperor's Divide is going to throw Yukal back. There's the fear out from Ona, but it looks like Yukal is just fine. Still, Pays not actually able to click onto the lantern, does get it as the ward disappears, but still is going to be in a lot of trouble. And he'll trying to throw out these auto attacks as Willer almost just dead to carry the flash to pick up the kill on the enemy jungle. But it does mean that Gio is able to get some damage down. Man, that ramped up tower doing so much work, and T1 just outplay them.
Super calculated. This is my favorite part about this is the jungle diff, right? Like the Nocturne tries to do something mid, they don't even get a flash, and then down here Xin Zhao's like, I'm getting everything. End up getting that stun onto Aphelios here. Kites back though, has the grab at him, and then Keria ignites, flashes for the auto, grabs the kill, ignite value.
Beautifully done. Gets level up as well. Make sure that he is definitely not dying.
He is okay. Keria is crazy.
Yeah. Willer is making his way in though, and Keria could be in a fair bit of trouble here. Doesn't have flash, and so that lantern not something you really want to be taking here. 3 Talon Strike does come on through, and Keria is likely to be very dead. Yukal can speed up Willer here, and the hook is not going to be enough. So Yukal even collecting a kill, and that is a bunch of money over to the mid laner of DRX now, spreading the wealth.
For T1 as we reset the gold to even. And I think Faker once again.
Yeah, he's just going to be able to find Yukal. This time he'll flash, but that spell shield was so good to avoid the shockwave for Ona. And that is just a very dead Orianna as T1 back in the lead once again.
The OG shuffler.
He is.
And so Yukal's caught a little bit there. If he flashes the ultimate, very survivable, but does not. And flashes anyways and dies, so good spell shield from Ona, who does not have flash. In fact, everyone except Keria for T1 still holding those.
Well, Ona moving down here towards this dragon. Doesn't have the paranoia, but it's coming up pretty soon. Emperor's Divide as well on its way. As Pays will be able to take a lantern over towards Keria. T1 now looking to close in 4v4 around this Drake. Let's see whether Ona can get in and try and steal this one away. Looks like Willer is committed. He is going to be able to take it there. As now Ona with another decent spell shield. It's Faker! Will find 2 with the Emperor's Divide and now turns his attention to Andal as Gio is still free hitting. A lot of damage now onto Ona and to Pays, who are split up from the rest of the team. The dash from Gio was so sexy, but it's Pays that takes him down. Willer needs one more auto. He'll get it and takes down Ona as well. It's a double as Yukal's in the back of the pit. Keria with the blade to try and take it down, and somehow it's a triple kill for this Xin Zhao.
Risp. Exactly, that's what I was going to say, is if he plays this well, it looks very scary, as Andal is not going to...
Yeah, Ona is down here as well. There's a Tempered Fate just to stop Pace from doing too much damage, and now Willer gets on in there. I don't know about this though, as he does get a little bit scared. That's a lot of damage though. Cosmic Binding as Pace is going to be taken down. It's Andal that gets the kill, but Gio's just not doing enough damage, and Ona picks himself up a double.
Plates, I believe, off of that, so it's something.
Oh dear, Keria Hex Flash in once again. Another hook beautifully set up by that Gravitum as Gio is just dead. That is Pays throwing down that Q with the Severum. The Magical Journey does come on through there, but it's a double kill as Andal's just going to fall down. Willer is now in a lot of trouble as Ona's moving in. I think Willer's dead as well. Dustbringer comes on forward. Ona is going to hunt him down, but it's Pays with the damage. Triple kill for the Aphelios.
Well, you look at the comp and you're like, oh yes, the Thresh protects the Aphelios. It's like the Aphelios protects the Thresh. Like the carriers going in and FaZe is like, oh, you're pretty deep. Let me kill those guys for you. Like, hold on.
I'll take care of it, don't worry.
Oh my God, the play here from Carrier is just out of control, and FaZe spaces it well, does the boom boom.
And this was what Carrier and Guma were known for, was this exact duo now.
Yeah, I mean 2021, 2022.
Yeah. As we're going to have a look at another battle here. T1 not liking the look of it. Tempered Fate does go down though. Great hook going to connect onto Willer as he's pulled back with the play, but Owner is already dead. And now Willer goes in one more time. Great shockwave and a double kill here for Jiu. Never mind.
As Faker should be fine here. He's got his ult coming back. Oh, I thought he actually had it, but it's coming back up. He's got flash. Doran going to grab this turret down here at the same time.
It's just the passive going down. So that was the result of that one. Kind of cool.
And nothing
played there by Rich.
This should be a mid turret. They got that extra plate for Jiu topside. The gold still significantly in favor of T1 here. But some of these really strong, late game.
Taken here by DRX. As let's see whether Owner can make his way in. There's the paranoia to start this fight off as in goes Doran. Gets into the backline. He just takes matters into his own hands. Down goes Andal already, and there is Yukal falling as well. Doran will be dying because he doesn't have that passive available anymore after that fight towards the bottom side. But still, T1 get control of the Dragon Pit. DRX unable to lock that one down. And that should be one Dragon apiece and a one team fight for T1.
Yeah, still getting the kill onto Doran feels like a nice little pick-me-up after what was certainly looking to be a disaster, but T1 will be the big winners here as Jiu in danger.
Yep, Faker gonna go forward, but does not quite get far enough to lock down Jiu.
And FaZe is like, man, I got the gravitum on him. Willer's already used his ultimate. There's just no front line there for him anymore.
Oh dear. Emperor's Divide is going to throw Rich back, and I think Rich is just dead. He is. Doran going to be able to grab some revenge here in his first kill of the game. Meanwhile, could be Owner in a little bit of trouble here, but does manage to click on the lantern. Look at all of those wards. They were invested.
They still will get this turret on the top side, so it's not all for nothing here. And we didn't talk about it just yet. I hadn't really been looking too closely at it, but Rich is just going for the old Triforce build.
Yeah,
not doing the new tech, which we saw, I want to say Vin do.
Poised to get into position. Oh, I've seen this play before. All right.
Thresh isn't here this time, but they have the TP from Doran. Let's see what he can get done.
Yeah, Faker is going to shift some sands. Counter-Strike is going to work out here. Let's see what the Faker... He does have his ulti in about 7 seconds time, and Rich is able to take him down before that does actually come on through. Meanwhile, another fight on the other side as Jiu is relatively untouched. Red-white guns from FaZe, but he's unable to survive. And now Doran is surrounded. Tempered Fate doing nothing at all as he pulls back Yukal, but he's got an arm guard to break. And it is 3-0 in favor of DRX.
I mean, we've called Faker the Matador for a reason. Like, this guy has pulled people around the map. He's got his side lane cape out, but this one backfires completely on Baron spawn. Yunara is going to be a contest and a TP.
Rich is very, very healthy. Hook is going to connect onto said Rich as the rest of DRX are a little bit split in their decision-making. Faker trying to get in there, press divide, and he sweeps the floor with them. There's the steal we were talking about, and you do not take Baron in the face of T1.
I mean, that was Faker getting caught inside, so it always ends up being a positive for T1, right? He never dies without a reason. Perhaps this reason came a little bit later than DRX anticipated because he dies to TP back in to stop the greedy Baron. He joined his teammates to use the magical journey to make sure even with low health bars they get out. As FaZe clocks on again.
Oh dear. Not going to be able to click that lantern this time around as Andal, great sidestep on the hook as well as Tempered Fate holds Carrier in position. But now Owner diving on forward. Doran gets there as well. The stun does come on through and Carrier still going in. It is going to be Owner going down though, and now they're just hiding. Jiu able to take down Carrier in the end, and now Yukal comes on over. Faker goes golden just to see the lay of the land, and he does not like the look of it as the Sand Soldiers hit the air and Doran hits the ground. It's an ace for DRX this time. You've heard of the double down, Wolf. What about the triple down?
All right, well, this is a bit outdated now, but we watched Faker save the game moments before, which is why it was really cool. We're like, wow, yeah, they got Baron. This is going to be insane. All right, Owner gets the secure. But then...
I kind of want to know what happens here.
Distances means they have a little leeway here, a little bit of play around this one. Yukal is zoning as if he has ult, but he certainly does not.
Well, Rich on an angle here as Andil can also try and make his way in. We'll see whether the no, Tempted Bait is not actually available as Doran dives on forward. Gio gets himself out of the way, though. It's a lot of damage towards Doran, who doesn't really have too much backup. Meanwhile, there's another fight on the other side, and the hook is going to connect onto Willa. Down he will go, and the Zion is put into the passive, and so he's not even killed, and T1 just say thanks for the leash.
Yeah, this was, I think, for DRX a step too far. Joker may have used all his coach comms before this one, because I think the call definitely should have been to play around vision and to force T1 into you and grab another Baron. It looks like they're going to grab their second Dragon of the game.
Man, this game is still very, very close, but with the Baron now available for the next 2 minutes on T1.
Yeah, this is a really... I mean, okay, this is a crazy journey.
That is a magical journey as they're into the blender. Down goes Andil, immediately punished for that one as the paranoia comes on through. Willa trying to keep himself alive there as Rich just goes golden and then goes dead. Now Faker finds the Emperor's Divide. Yukal's going to flash it, but Jiu, he's still going to take so much damage. Doran uses the ulti to gap close. That was cute, as it's a triple for Pays, and there is the end of the game.
This team, this DRX team, looks like they got so much potential this year, but once again get outclassed by one of our best teams here in the LCK in T1. T1 made a few mistakes, a little bit bullish on some of their plays there towards the latter half of the mid game, but ultimately still do make the right calls, disengage from that Baron, get the reset, and look at the timing on the respawn. Looking for Andil.
Making sure they take him down one more time. Carrier says, that's my skin. And it is. Andil's he's just representing, you know? And it is the best bard skin in the game.
It's going to be a little bit trickier. I'm not saying this is unplayable, but it's a little bit trickier here. This is probably going to be one of those lanes where you see Andil press heal at level 1 to try to see if he can get in there and avoid some of that damage from Nico. Try to do anything you can. Owner is here. He's like, you know what? That's too much damage. I'm looking for something.
Well, let's see whether this dive is going to work. It's a little bit dicey, but Owner is making his way in anyway. There's the headbutt out. His chains are not going to land. Still they're looking for it, wanting to find that angle. Of course, long cooldown on the headbutt for now, as Owner is going to get taken down first. And there is a very dead Kaiser as well. What the hell was that?
I mean, when I watched them stay after the initial chains combo was set up, I was like, am I missing something here? I think they can't do it. It'd be insane. Like, look, he does not commit. But still, could have been insane if he actually gets the collapse. It's going to be a free Dragon. That Dragon Smite will give Willer level 6, I believe. Should be enough experience there. In fact, not even going to Smite.
There he goes.
Just knows. 6.
Got it locked down. So, like you say, level 6, almost double the farm of Owner here. Not in the end, as Faker does actually close in on him here. Let's see. There's a Pulverize just to try and interrupt. And the Unbreakable Will is now there for Owner. Still not a whole lot to fight for here in this river, unless you talk about a crab being a powerful thing. As in goes Andil, triple Pulverize. Pop Blossom there to answer, but it's only onto the cow, as Owner is just unkillable with that ultimate running. The rest of DRX are looking for him though, and down will go the Silas, and Carrier pops as well. Once the ultimate wears off, I guess the Silas is able to be taken down.
And I'll even know about the OG trilogy of Star Wars.
I imagine, like, you know, it's been re-released so many times that they have to, right?
I hope so.
Surely. As Rich is going to be looking for a little bit of an engage onto Doran here, who's kiting this one out quite nicely. Yukal moving on over those. There's the Seismic Shove flash into an ulti that hits the air. And Doran is still going to be able to walk his way out, but does have to expend the flash in order to do so. Slice. That's how you do it.
Slice flash, you know. He's like, oh, I can flash a dice.
Is this actually the latest grubs that we've had ever?
Probably. In the jungle, and they're just continuing to just pinch sides. Faker does not have teleport, right? So if he gets caught, he is in big trouble. As Rich, speaking of getting caught.
Yeah, he's going to get walloped, and Rich is just dead. Solo bolo there for Doran. Yeah,
first turret of the game.
That's a lot of extra money here over to T1. That is completely evening out the gold lead that DRX had put together for themselves.
Yeah, this is really rough. It was a bit all in to make that play topside. Gets slowed here. And red buff actually for Doran. So he is just going to run him down. Gets the Mega. And you can see he tries to dash.
He just walks at him and he's dead.
Toss up.
There we go.
Got him, he says. See, like, he had the kills, he had the lead, but it hasn't translated into second item spike. And his tier obviously is a ways away from finishing. And we're only 15.5 minutes in, but it feels like this Corki was so far ahead. And then you look at the items, you're like, if they can slow this down, T1 absolutely have a fight here.
Yeah, can't quite see the health bar on that Dragon for now, as Ona does pick up that Unbreakable Will one more time. UCal is going to block off the entry as the steal does not come on in. Now Willa looks for the angle. The Unbreakable Will is up, and there is the public execution for Willa into the backline. Meanwhile, Doran finds a gigantic Gnar to take down the cow, and DRX are just looking to exit the fight. There's the dash cannon from Carrier wanting to try and get on in there, but the flash forward from Doran, it just gets a flash from the enemy.
Gets the big wallop. Now let's see if he gets out of here, though. A bit of a caster curse. Teleport?
Yeah, there's a shove, though, so not going to be getting out of this one. The mini Gnar that could. UCal takes a fair bit of damage, but he'll be all right. Does have the Seraph shield. And so a little bit unfortunate. Maybe that's caster
UCal dead.
Now, yeah, there's a flash in. UCal's really dead.
All right. And then in live.
Okay, got another battle here as public execution is stolen away. Andil is likely to be very dead. Voidseeker is actually what finishes it off there. Pays on the board now with his first kill of the game.
T1 as the observer showcase here. That turret is still alive.
Well, Andil is going to park himself alongside Geo yet again. As Pays and Carrier, they do have Ona there. Public execution connects onto the cow. Flash out from Andil is going to get him to relative safety. And now Faker dealing with Rich and with Willa. And Rich is going to be able to take him down this time with the help of his friends. Anyway.
That should be the mid turret, though, in that exchange. Big W for DRX here.
Yeah, Willa actually diving on in for this one as well. And the jungle ambassador we saw already. I mean, Lucid demonstrated exactly how dangerous the pick can be.
And we're just going to trade turrets here on top lane, which is fine. Top and bottom, that is to say, by top laners. But this is a big win for DRX because this opens up the map significantly for Willer. He's been a level up this whole game. That remains the case. Here.
Yeah, they are a lot of pings. So I think DRX has an idea of what's going on, but this Baron is going down so quickly. Andil booking it to get himself in, but I think it's just gone. Highway robbery as they take it away. Carrier off to the side. Willer is going to catch him as now UCal making his way forward. Rich in the front line as he flashes on forward, slices, dices. There's the ulti from Willer. So sick on the play as they dive on top of Pays, who look to get over the wall. The cow is going to get sacrificed, but the Baron is not worth this much money anymore. And they lose a couple of deaths and sacrifice the Mountain Soul.
The jungler here for DRX is going to smite this dragon away. You have to imagine no way for Owner to get in. 1400 the smite, and Mountain Soul belongs to the underdogs as maybe they get even more.
Yeah, here's a teleport in. As Sterix is now completed here for Rich. He's looking to try and kill Doran. The mini Gnar that could. Cannot. Not this time. As he'll get shoved and destroyed. Everything, and then everyone kind of got to vacate the area as Faker is behind the turret. T1 kind of closing in on DRX for the moment, but look at that fresh shield that they've got for themselves.
It's going to feel fantastic in scrappy fights, which feels like every fight has been. Geo trying to bait them.
Oh dear, Headbutt Pulverize does come on through. There is the public execution, and Carrier could do absolutely nothing about it. Ona tries to steal away the Dominus. The Gnar is massive though from Doran. Can he save the fight? The answer is no. Rich is a huge, huge crocodile, and he'll just cut up T1. DRX are looking to head towards game number 3, Wolf.
It looks
despite
like it.
Doran's best efforts.
And it looks like even though Geo dies here, it's going to be a full rout of T1. Faker the last to fall. Been engaged normally, but I don't think he will. In fact, I think this Baron is probably just gone.
Well, Realm Warp was used just to see what was going on at the Baron. They do manage to get the Scryer out there as well. Shove back onto Ona. He now has the Unbreakable Will, which is so scary. But look at this, DRX just keeping them at bay. The cow throws down that ulti, presses Pulverize for fun, and DRX can take a Baron and move on now towards this Elder to make this Weaver's Wall work. As it is available, Doran
now.
Yeah, not actually going to be able to interrupt that. It's the public execution onto Faker, who gets exhausted and cut down where he stands. Doran trying to find it, gets a double knock into the wall, as Andil will be the one taken out first. Willa still trying to get this work done, but it's Doran that's dead. And the Elder Dragon now getting turned on by DRX with the man advantage. Owner is still there with his smite available, and Pays is up and available as well. Can they lock down UCal? That's the question. The flash out from Pays to avoid getting hit, but Owner is just going to get slaughtered. And DRX, I think they're doing it. They're taking the Elder Dragon. And this could be the way that they win this game.
I mean, such a patient fight from DRX was phenomenal control.
Man, I really want to hear what Joker says. If DRX wins this game, oh my goodness. He's just going to be so happy, isn't he?
I think he might be out of coach comms this game.
Oh yeah, sorry. But I mean, like, but afterwards.
Oh, sure.
You know, yeah,
oh,
after
yeah,
the
no,
game.
for sure.
After the game.
Absolutely.
He's not going to be able to do another coach voice.
Yeah, I think, you know, the amount of time T1 was able to buy at the end of that fight might give them one more attempt to just, like, wave clear here, but Faker still doesn't have his actualizer. I think this is just an inevitable loss here. Man, Yukal's got that wave pushing mid, and this inhibitor is not long for this world.
Yukal is really making Talia look like a great champion in this game. He's just having a brilliant performance. As now with the Elder, going to be very difficult to stop this one as Jiu just kills Faker. Okay, Pop Blossom now being set up, but Jiu is able to avoid it. Carrier's going to get eaten by a dragon. Doran going to follow suit, and DRX will obliterate them as they now take down the Nexus turrets and send us to a Game 3 versus T1. Renata comes in very obviously.
Yeah, I want to say Kalista, or sorry, not Kalista, the Syndra is 0-2 so far here at the LCK Cup. We saw it almost win, I believe it was even yesterday.
Voice over and over again. The team that really has made the most of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's wise. I feel like they prepped this, you know, and every other team, not every other team, but a lot of other teams are just simply not utilizing it, which is fair because every team has their own style. But when you have this added benefit, if you prep it well and you don't overdo it,
picks it up, and Vaultbreaker gets him out of the Cataclysm as well. Now Doran looking to try and close this one in. There is, oh no, delivers him over the cease and desist, comes down. They're looking to try and kill Doran, and they do manage to take him out. First blood over to Willa, as now Ona desperately trying to pick it up, and he will be able to at least get rid of the enemy jungler as body slam avoided with a swift flash from Ona, and between worlds goes Faker to get out of the way of Yukal.
got the scatter out with the bait.
And now T1 looking for an angle here. Handshake onto Willa is going to miss. The Fate's Call also kind of goes wide here as now Pays in a bit of trouble, but Faker makes his way over. Cease and Desist comes in. The bailout is successful, but it's Chiu that takes him down in the end. And Andil, not long for the world. That is Faker collecting that kill. It's a double for the GOAT. And T1 well and truly on the board now.
Even if T1 hit all those things, the result ends up being a lot more clean for them, but doesn't matter when Faker just shows up and he's like, thank you for
the Drake, but it is going to reset.
Jiu gets his wave pushed in. He can actually kind of sandwich with his ultimate. T1 have to back away. They're going to lose scuttle control here as well in just a moment.
Don't know about this from Jiu as he does move into this crush. Willa gets on top though. Cease and desist once again as Pays not going to get bailed out this time. Handshake comes forward as Jiu just trying to stand his ground. The flash has to be used from Ona to get himself out of the way as Andil is going to hold him in position, and down goes the Jarvan. Well, out goes the Jarvan for the moment, and is going to dodge a bunch of abilities before he is inevitably dead. There it is. Yukal locks down that kill.
Team fights are great. His early skirmishing has been phenomenal this season, as this is a very aggressive little look in. I want to call it contest from T1.
Yeah, FaZe is going to move on forward. There's Between Worlds. Is Andil going to be the target? He is taken out. Faker very low on mana, but Willa is looking to try and catch up to him. Let's see whether they can get that one done as Yukal is already dead. Out goes Willa, but in goes Jiu, and Faker is going to survive. Woo! A couple of swift kills here for T1 in trade for the Dragon.
All right, well, it ends up being a real contest in the end. Not able to get the objective, as you say, but some money is definitely feeling pretty nice for them. They'll take a 700 gold lead. Rich, maybe some more money.
Yeah, he does have flash, does use it, and dies. No more coach voice here for DRX, I believe. Using all of them very, very quickly here as Willa wanting to chase down Doran. Let's see whether he does connect that Vault Breaker, and he will. Cease and Desist is up in 7 seconds time, but I don't think he will need it as Doran is just dead, punched to the face.
And T1 trying to contest here in this choke. Yukal can control so much space.
And Andil is just trying to hold them at bay here. Not providing himself as a target, but always getting information where he can. Teleport in for the Gwen, as now Pays. Just dashing around the fight here. Tries to get a few sticks into Andil.
Rich just wasn't involved at all. Just hit himself.
Well, Faker goes Between the Worlds. Flash out from Yukal, respecting the damage potential of this Aurora. As now Jiu, possibly in trouble, throws down the barrier to try and keep himself up. As now Willa looks to get in there. There's the flash, gets on top of Pays, and they will be able to get that hostile takeover out of carrier, but it's dodged so beautifully by Jiu. He does go down in the end, but it's a trade of 80 carries. Ona's going to go down as well as Willa, surviving for a very long time, but it's Faker with the cleanup. He comes in, takes down the enemy jungler, and it's a 3 for 2 in favor of T1.
Pushing T1 around the map. It's really impressive to watch, despite the gold deficit, despite that loss in the last team fight. They are just going to keep trying to force, and it's working well so far at the start of this dragon. Rich rotates down, Doran isn't here. I don't think this fight is possible for T1. It's not playable. A free dragon.
Yep, they do just give it up.
Dragons later, our comp is starting to really gain some steam here. This 4-kill Aurora. Looking for UCal.
Yep, between worlds goes Faker, and dead UCal in an instant. Willow was thinking about trying to back him up, but he was, he was already on the floor.
That's complete. He just has so much burst. They know that even if Willer ults, that they're pretty safe to do this. They also had Faker's flash. They can just drop this and take this mid turret now.
Yeah, should be able to. There is the Rift Arrow going down, so that is going to be Shelly charging in. FaZe is going to turn up yet again as the Crystal and Overgrowth does go down. And DRX move forward. They should be able to take down this outer turret. Okay, there's a Cataclysm from Ona. Jiu still inside it. Hostile takeover, and they're just fighting each other. As Jiu survives for such a long time, it is Faker going down first. UCal collects that kill. Still has his little shield available, but it is 2 on the floor on the DRX side, and T1, they successfully avenge their turret.
They're going to actually try to just send it on this Baron, and I think positioning is going to be everything.
That's a bit crazy, as in goes Doran looking for the angle here. UCal, as soon as someone's in melee range, there's just not a whole lot he can do. And T1, they stayed on this Baron. It's down to 50%. Ando looking to make his way in. Rich just being frustrating here as they show Doran the door. He gets onto this Baron one more time. It's down to 3,000.
6 seconds on Rich's ult, but he doesn't have it.
Yep, the barrel comes in, and that is going to be FaZe locking down this Baron. T1 and 20-minute Barons, ladies and gentlemen. It's pretty impressive. And now Jiu looking to try and take down FaZe. That is Carrier also falling. And Rich,
and the
he's teleporting. He wants to try and find this angle. Doesn't have the ulti, but he does have barrels, and he takes down FaZe. Doran now underneath this turret is having to deal with this very large Gragas. Owner is there to defend, and I don't know whether it's quite going to be enough because DRX are closing in. There's Willa. Down goes the Gwen. The Gragas is going to be sacrificed, though, and Faker turns up. And this is just a bloodbath. It's a mess on both sides.
Sealed the deal, but enough time is bought. Jiu finally shows back up here. Rich flashes in, then goes for the TP to cut them off, and just barely there's some heroics from Jarvan and this Aurora. Owner and Faker save them.
And in the meantime, we have even more stuff happening. Owner goes in, Willa down very, very low, but he has now a door to try and keep him safe. The culling is just going to split off this fight as the Fate's Call does go down, but Carrier not actually going to utilize it. There is a soul point on the table here for DRX, but T1 have started off this dragon. And Ando looking a little worse for wear. Some big buttons on cooldown on both sides. I mean, but it's Willa being so low that means that it's just impossible.
I mean, DRX, it feels truly they've reached their expiration date with this composition, and yet they just keep trying to find these angles, and sometimes they nearly do. They make it so close. They make it so competitive. This Baron, relatively low on the power play here. 20 seconds left on it. It's only at 400. But the fights they keep taking, these scrappy ones with the aggressive scatters, the vials, the crazy Gragas casts from Rich, it gets tougher and tougher as these resistances start to come through on any mountain drink picked up, as these items start to come through on these fed carries. I mean, this Gwen is so big, almost too big to fail already. Looking for the ult now, and Owner's there. They're going to have to just send it mid, I think.
Yep, DRX looking to try and go for a bit of a cross match because they know that Rich is just very, very dead. Doesn't have the cast, doesn't have a chance, and he is going to be taken out for Rich, so he can get anywhere he wants in 20 seconds time. And teleport going to be used here for UCal to try and defend this outer turret, but I mean, there's 4 people here. I don't know about this one, as UCal just put immediately into the Cataclysm after the flash. He is able to throw down a bunch of damage, but FaZe is able to shrug it off, and it's a double kill for Doran.
It wasn't the right call to look for the TP defend of the turret. They didn't have the tools. If they had a Gragas there, who's going to spawn now, I think that would have been a realistic option. He's got Body Slam, he's got the cast, he can peel. They thought the Braum would be enough. It absolutely was not. And as a result, it's a dead Syndra and a second turret to fall in the mid lane. And there is no defending this one. T1 pulling ahead massively now, 5.5k the advantage.
Puts it down now as they look to try and get rid of this turret first. Scatter the Weak does come in. There's the culling as Doran goes golden, but they just take down the turret. In the meantime, teleports coming in from everywhere, and Ona from over the wall. Jiu able to dash out of the way again from some more buttons, but it's not going to be enough to keep him alive. Willer is also limping out of the fight. UCal takes down Faker though. DRX, the rest of them are just melting. Owner gonna grab a double. Doran dashing towards UCal to get rid of him again. Here on DRX, it is another Baron for T1.
DRX have been scrapping and fighting and forcing this whole game. They've been trying to hold on to the tempo. They've been trying to wrestle it back. Already picked up. And I think that was the final fight. I think that was the game-winning moment for T1. Great defense. The Deathcap Faker was desperately trying to put together. He's got it now.
Yeah, and so does UCal, but I just don't feel like it's going to
not the same
have
kind of impact.
Same gravity. Exactly right, Wolf. And yeah, just a few thumbs up as the inner turret is going to inevitably fall.
Jiu does not have flash, so difficult for him to layer damage in. It's a winnable fight, even without Faker, and if you just sit back and lose the turrets, okay, hold on, Owner.
Yeah, Scat of the Week is going to connect. Owner is going down very, very low. Does have GA, and it does get procced by a big old cask from Rich. But still,
I think Owner might be okay with that because Faker's back now and they still have a minute left of Baron. They can now siege the base freely, and with no cast to deal with, it's pretty safe.
Yeah, exactly right. And they should be able to now get rid of this inhibitor turret. The rest of them had to go back to the fountain because they were looking worse for wear after that fight. They do get their health bars back though. DRX not giving up without a fight. As Willer diving on in. Good handshake there from Carrier, but the culling is going to soften him up. There's the Fate's Call, has to be thrown through as T1 considering a re-engage. Scat of the Week connects, lands onto Faker here, who takes once again so much damage. Hostile takeover, tries to get avoided, cease and desist though, onto Pays. The GA comes through now for Willer as now Rich moves away from Doran to try and join the rest of the fight. And they're chasing, but these health bars are so low, and Pays is so mobile. It's such a difficult moment.
Oh, Doran's 2 levels up. They're going to try to collapse on him here, but good luck.
Yeah, the needlework comes out. Out goes Willer because he knows it's only a couple of those, and he's just dead. The rest of DRX are able to navigate it, but look at this, T1, they were the ones running away before, and now they are looking to try and take down another inhibitor in the enemy base.
I mean, DRX from a thread, hanging on in this game, looking for Pays now.
I think he's just dead. The handshake goes wide, the bailout doesn't work, and now they're going to chase down Carrier. There's the Scat of the Week, and Force of Will be able to take him down.
I mean, a few more kills, and they could actually turn this game around and scrappy, but they have been so well coordinated, and this is without Joker's help this time.
Yeah, no more coach voice available unless they start using T1's coach voice options. Because I don't know whether they've used too many of those. As Willer now starting a fight once again. There's the cast, but down goes Willer. Owner is still standing as Jiu trying to finish him off. Faker goes between the worlds and will be able to get himself to safety.
Should be able to get here, no problem. And also has his ultimate to push, stop the push.
Yeah, Rich, oh my goodness, that burst damage absolutely insane. As Doran diving on in, Willer looks for the angle, great handshake onto the Vice. Doran thrown around like a ragdoll. Great use of the body slam, but Doran should still be able to kill him. He goes golden just to buy some space, but UCal's dead. Both solo lane is down, and T1 have decided that it's time to win. As Jiu not able to keep himself alive this time. It's Pays that locks down the kill, and this time it's only Willer that survives.
And top damage in the fight goes to Jarvan for T1.
That's insanity.
And unfortunately, the fight was a bit disjointed there for DRX. It needed to be a desperate one. Willer's ultimate on the wrong side. And T1 walk away victors on what was a closer game that I think that it had any right to be.
Oh dear. Willer is very, very dead. Nexus turret's going down, and T1, they will finish this one off 29-15 in a 34-minute game. Are you not entertained? As this was a bloodbath from game 1.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.